Sell your car. Your brother's loan won't pay for itself. That's what my father said while not even looking up from his tablet. That's funny, I replied, trying to contain my sarcasm. He takes out the loan. I'm stuck with the bill the day all this came to light. I handed him a present, a warning. 30 days to vacate. Sell your car, he repeated, as if it were a simple order. I stopped in the middle of the kitchen, still holding the bottle of orange juice. I'm sorry, what? He raised his eyes as if I was exaggerating. Your brother is trying to make his business work. He has a lot of responsibility now. And behind the stove, my mother let out a tired sigh. You're in a good position, Nathan. You earn well. All Liam needs is a little support. Support? Always that word. Their private translation for money. I closed the fridge and leaned against the counter. You've just increased my rent by 80%. Do you remember that? My father gestured with his hand as if I were being dramatic. And yet you still pay less than you would anywhere else. So let's raise it another 80. We'll call it a donation, maybe a charity campaign. My mother frowned. There's no need for sarcasm. Liam is your brother? Yes, I confirmed. He's also 30 years old, lives for free in the basement, and hasn't worked full-time for about 10 years. But yes, of course, let's put pressure on me. The silence that followed was dense, uncomfortable. Then, my father with the greatest calm in the world. You've always been good with money, haven't you? That's what I thought, but I didn't say it. I started to manage since college. Steady job during the day, freelancing at night, no debts, no luxury, car paid for, small savings built up little by little. I swapped parties for spreadsheets, weekends for deadlines. Meanwhile, Liam, well, he dropped out of 2 courses, fell for a cryptocurrency guru scam, and now he's into launching a brand. In practice, it means playing video games until the early hours of the morning and posting motivational phrases on Twitter. You said I could stay here for a year, get some money together, get ahead in life. And I did. Now, on top of the inflated rent, there's this suggestion that I should sell my car. Because of Liam. He's your brother, my mother repeated, as if praying. Family helps. I looked at them both and laughed. I'll think about it, I said, in a low tone. My father nodded as if the subject was closed. I knew you'd do the right thing. I didn't argue. I just went back to my room, closed the door, sat on the bed and stared at the floor. They had no idea. None. Of what I had already decided, of what was about to happen. On Liam's big day, I really did have a present for him, a surprise. Nothing they were expecting, but for you to understand how everything got to this point, there's something that comes before. It didn't start with that conversation at breakfast. It was the accumulation of years. A pile of small disguised demands, silent expectations that I would always be there, giving everything while they got used, to taking it until I forgot what it was like to live just for myself. Liam's big day was just the trigger. The fire had been burning for a long time, ever since I came home from college. It was supposed to be temporary, a year, according to my dad. Get some money together, settle down, then get on with your life. That was 3 years ago. Since then, I've paid rent, shared bills, paid for repairs when things broke, helped my mother with credit card surprises more times than I can remember. I never complained. I thought that was part of it. An eldest son's responsibility, perhaps. But what really hurt was the weight of comparison. Liam, my younger brother, had been seeing each other for about 5 years. What did that mean in practice? Expensive hobbies, ideas that didn't pan out, and an eternal financial hole that ended up falling into my lap. My mother said, he just needs time. My father said, you're the eldest, Nathan. You have to show the way. But showing the way meant what? Exactly? Working 60 hours a week while he slept until noon? Posting selfies from the sofa saying he was in productivity mode? Let me give you an example. In 2019, he decided he was going to set up a dropshipping empire. Who paid for the company registration? And the platform? Me. In 2020, he decided to become a YouTuber. I bought a camera, microphone, even lighting, until the money from the ads started to fall. In 2021 came the I create phase, he said, all excited. This time, I refused to open my wallet, so he decided to take out a $15,000 personal loan. He lost it all in less than 2 months. And now what? Now they expected me to sell my car to cover the hole he'd dug himself and couldn't get out of. Do you want to know the worst? When I said, no, I was treated like the problem, Liam's not like you, my mother said one night. I came home from work to find the two of them waiting for me in the kitchen, as if I'd broken curfew at a boarding school. He's sensitive, she continued. You have a job, a career, he has dreams. Oh, I'm sorry, I replied. Is he allergic to work? Don't be cruel, my father retorted. Already on the defensive, he's trying, but the stress of the loan is making him anxious. Then let him sell the PlayStation, I said. Maybe the anxiety will go away when he finds out what a budget is, my father got. Up from his chair on the spot, no more sarcasm and no more free riding. You've raised my rent by 80%, I reminded him. But he doesn't pay anything. He's family, my mother explained. And so am I said, out of patience. Silence. No answer. After that, it only got worse. I started paying more attention to the little things, Uber Eats orders placed by Liam. Paid for with the house card, packages with my name on them, opened and left lying on the living room floor, including the new cell phone I'd bought to use at work. His girlfriend started sleeping over about 4 nights a week, eating whatever. Was in the fridge, calling me a wanker because I liked to pay for my own stuff. The final straw came on a Sunday, when I was in my room trying to get some rest before starting a night shift. Liam walked in without knocking. Hey, he said. Your credit's good, right? I sat down on the bed. Why? He laughed, as if the answer was obvious. I need to refinance my loan. Can I use your name? I kept looking at him. He was still smiling, as if he'd asked me for a spoonful of sugar. Do you want me to join you on your loan? Just for a while? He replied. You won't lose anything. Nothing to lose, of course. I got up and walked past him without saying anything. He came up behind me in the corridor. Hey, wait, what's wrong? Are you mad? I kept quiet. You always think you're better than us just because you have money. Did I owe them anything? For what? Because they gave me food when I was little? Why did they bring me up in a house where affection came with a plinth and recognition was reserved only for those who stumbled the most? They didn't raise a child. They created a resource, a walking ATM, with limits they never thought to respect. That night was different. I wasn't tired, I was full. There was no argument, no scandal, just silence and research. Because if there's one thing I've learned from living with them, it's that the best way to dismantle a system is from the inside. And the system, in this case, was my own family. My mistake was believing that I was a part of it, and it was time to pull the plug. Liam's big day was approaching. He expected a celebration, balloons, applause, spotlights. But what I had in mind was a little different. 30 days, an envelope, and no advance notice. But I'm getting ahead of myself. You still have to see what that day was like. Liam's big event had a name. The launch of his brand, t-shirts with phrases that made no sense, a promotional kit put together in Canva, and the whole neighborhood invited to the backyard as if he had founded the new Amazon. The day before, my father asked if I could help with the speakers. No, I answered. Straight away. You're not even going to show up, my mother asked, standing in my bedroom doorway, as if I had been suspended from school. He's your brother, he's your project, I replied. She sighed, annoyed. I didn't mind. They had crossed all my boundaries. Now it was my turn to draw my own. On the morning of the event, I printed out the documents. I put everything in the envelope. I checked it twice. 30 days. That's how long our state law stipulated for a formal eviction notice. I did everything right. If I was going to set fire to that circus, I wanted to do it with a receipt. At noon, Liam was already in the yard, sunglasses on, posing. As the head of production, shouting instructions to no one in particular, where's the music? What's with the playlist? My father was setting up the barbecue. My mother handed out plastic cups on a folding table, as if it were a fancy wedding. I stood in the kitchen, looking out of the window, coffee in hand, in my favorite mug, the one that says Problem Solver Poetic. I waited for the guest to arrive. I waited for him to come up with a borrowed microphone, to give a speech about overcoming persistence, and how that achievement was the result of his support network. As soon as the audience started applauding, I left. With the envelope in my hand, I went up to him. For you, I said, handing it over. What's this? he asked with the smile of someone who thinks he's getting something expensive. Your surprise, I said. You have 30 days. He laughed. 30 days for what? My father was approaching, frowning. My mother stopped in the middle of a toast. I spoke loud and clear, without wavering in my voice. The music fell silent. Are you kidding? Leon said, opening the envelope. It's not a formal notice, I replied. This house is my property. You're not a tenant, you're a burden, and I've had enough. My father interrupted me. What's this, Nathan? Can't you just leave? I can't, I said, without hesitation. You raised my rent by 80%. You told me to sell my car to cover his debt. You called it fair. Now is neither the time nor the place. My mother growled through clenched teeth. It's the perfect time, I retorted, because I want everyone to hear. I turned to the audience, family, neighbors, Leon's parasitic friends. For 3 years, I paid rent, bills, fixed up the house when no one lifted a finger. I bought the groceries while Leon bought microphones. I saw him fail at every idea, and yet you turned me into Plan B, the safety net, the punching bag, Nathan. You're exaggerating. My father tried. Am I really? I challenged. I turned. To Leon, did you or did you not ask me last week to co-sign on your loan for a deal that hasn't even started? Leon turned red. It was just an idea, he said, trying to justify himself. You live on ideas. I live on real work. I'm your brother, he shouted, trying to maintain his pose in front of the guests. You should help me. I did, I said icily. I helped. You become someone who never had to be responsible, but now, enough, my mother gasped. You can't talk to him like that. I looked her right in the eye. You mean the way you spoke to me? When you called me selfish for not selling my car? The way you treat me like a walking ATM machine? My father advanced towards me. You're embarrassing this family. I laughed. It's this family that's a disgrace, and I'm tired of pretending otherwise. Leon's voice faltered as he read the papers again. You can't evict me. You don't even own this house, he tried. But I interrupted him. But I do, I said, showing my father the mortgage app on my cell phone. I bought it 6 months ago. Only in my name. You're living here at my expense. Silence. A deadly, wonderful silence, so you didn't tell us? My mother whispered. You didn't ask either, I replied, emotionless. You just kept assuming that I was paying for everything. I turned away, ready to go back into the house. Oh, and by the way, I said, looking over my shoulder, don't worry about the rent. I'll waive it for the next 30 days. After that, if anyone's still here, I'll let the sheriff sort it out. And so I went inside, closing the door behind me. Finally, I breathed. After the explosion in the yard, the house was plunged into a sepulchral silence. No one said a word. For the rest of the day, my mother disappeared into the bedroom with a bottle of wine. My father sat at the kitchen table, motionless, like a war veteran, reliving traumas. Leon slammed the bedroom door so hard that a picture frame fell off the wall. I turned up my music, locked the door, and took the best nap of my adult life. For the first time in years, I didn't feel exhausted. I felt dangerous. The silence didn't last long. On the 4th day after the notification, I found my father rummaging through a pile of my correspondence on the dining table. Bank statements, mortgage papers, legal documents. He didn't even try to disguise it. We just want to understand our options, he said. You can't be serious about evicting your own family, I raised an eyebrow. The family that raised my rent told me to sell my car and expected me to bankroll Leon's dreams, as if I were a walking Silicon Valley? Not quite, he muttered. This house has always been ours, spiritually speaking. I let out a dry laugh. Oh, you've become landlords now, have you? The guilt-ridden silence that my mother used as a weapon. Leon's voice echoing down the corridor. You have to help me. He's my brother. It used to haunt me. Now it reminds me why I left. 2 weeks after Leon disappeared, the house felt wrong. A false silence, like after a storm, when everything is eerily quiet, but you know another one might be on the way. My parents tried to act as if things were getting back to normal, but nothing was normal there anymore. They tiptoed around me, as if I were a bomb that they weren't sure had completely exploded yet. Every morning, I heard the soft sound of them trying to normalize things. My mother whispered good morning as if to avoid disturbing the unstable peace, and my father sat at the table staring into his coffee cup, as if looking for an answer he couldn't find. The house was immersed in a palpable tension, the same tension that had grown into mistrust over the years. The echoes of my words at that family gathering still hung in the air. Whatever it was, it would never be the same again. I didn't know what the future held, but one thing was clear. The cycle of dependence, deceit, and exploitation had come to an end, and the greatest gift I could give myself was the freedom to no longer depend on them. I was looking for something more, something that belonged to me completely, without conditions. Now, my journey was just beginning. In 2021, a difficult phase began for me. It was when Leah's situation worsened. This time, I didn't give him any money. He took out a personal loan of $15,000 to invest, but in less than 2 months, he lost everything. And now it looked like I would have to sell my car to cover the loan he couldn't pay back. The worst part? When I commented on this, they acted as if I were the villain in the story. "Leah's not like you," my mother said one evening when I came home and found the two of them waiting for me in the kitchen, as if I were a teenager returning after curfew. "He's sensitive," she continued. "You have a job, a career, he has dreams." I, irritated, just replied, "Oh, sorry, he's allergic to working." "Don't be cruel," my father retorted. "He's trying hard, but the stress of the loan is making him anxious." I looked at him and retorted, "So seeing PlayStation? Maybe his anxiety will go away when he starts budgeting." My father stood up angrily. "No more sarcasm and no more free riding," he said. I then replied, "You've increased my rent by 80%, but he doesn't pay anything." My father was quiet for a moment and my mother said, "He's family." I angrily retorted, "And so am I." No one replied. The situation only got worse.